Welcome to the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. If you're looking to get more out of your Shenandoah Valley experience, then this is the podcast for you. You'll meet interesting people, musicians, and comedians that perform here and find out more about what you can do and see. Whether you live here or plan to visit, listen to explore what makes our unique slice of heaven. Now here's your host, Don Davis Womack.
Hello, Laughers. I'm thrilled to introduce you to Valley singer-songwriter Morgan Dean, a true musical talent hailing from scenic Elkton, Virginia. With a passion for Americana and roots rock, Morgan has been gracing stages and captivating audiences for a remarkable 8 years. Her journey in the world of music took a remarkable turn in 2017 when she clinched the prestigious title of Valley Idol, an impressive feat that propelled her to the grand stage of Annapolis, Maryland. There, her talent shone even brighter as she secured a golden American Idol ticket, earning the coveted opportunity to perform in front of celebrity judges in Chicago. Welcome to the show, Morgan. It's an absolute delight to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me, Dawn. It is such a blessing to be here today with you.
It is. I enjoy my time anytime I get a chance to be with you. And that actually started when we first met at Sarah Hamilton's voice studio. She actually is a previous podcast guest, so people can look up Hamilton Voice Studio and that podcast episode. And then after that, when I met you is when you went on to compete in the American Idol show. And I just continued to sing in the shower. No one listens to me. We all have our strengths. So my first question for you is, where were you born and raised in the Shenandoah Valley? In Elkton?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Elkton, Virginia all my life. I did move out to Bridgewater, Virginia and Mount Solon for a little bit. And now I'm 24 years old and I'm back in the Shenandoah Valley. And man, I couldn't be happier. It's the most beautiful place to be.
It is. It is a gorgeous part of the world with the Blue Ridge Mountains. And I understand centuries ago it was an ancient lake. So it makes sense that we're here. I want to know, you were telling me, I think earlier, that you're the only musically inclined person in your current generation. So when did you know you were musically talented?
Honestly, this probably started back when I was like 9 or 10 years old. I got a karaoke machine and it had like all the hits. It had Heart, it had Bon Jovi, it had it all. And I just sang along with the hits on that. And then there was this little boy I went to school with. He talked about playing guitar and I was like, well, I want to play guitar too. So then when I was about 12 or 11 even, I went and took guitar lessons down in Elkton at the old music store and took lessons for a year and decided to go into the middle school talent show.
Wow.
And I remember my first time ever on a stage, like it was almost like that freeze up kind of moment where you're like, this is amazing. I'm going to throw up everywhere. And after that, I was like, people kept telling me how good I was and to keep going for the music. And man, I haven't stopped since.
I would say not.
I don't feel as sick as I once did when I play music anymore.
Oh, yes. You seem to be very confident on the stages right now. I imagine winning the Valley Idol helped you increase your confidence, and then receiving the Golden American Idol ticket. It must have been an incredible experience. Can you share the emotions and lessons you took away from those moments?
Oh, man. If I'm being honest, when I went to the Valley Idol for me was something I did for fun. I didn't expect to win or do anything out of that. I had a family member come to my house and be like, hey, you should do Valley Idol. And I was like, I don't know. And they're like, just try. And I was like, I just want to do it for fun. And I went and just did it for fun. I didn't practice before I went. And I ended up winning the whole competition. And it was like, man, I think in that moment, just taking away from just winning in the Valley, because I love the Valley, was imagined if I would have like practiced, how well I would have done it. Like 18-year-old me didn't understand what I did at that time. And 24-year-old me is like, wow, like, you know, that was just an experience that was to show me like that I am and still, well, I am going somewhere with the music.
Yes.
And then I went even farther. I went to Maryland and competed. And then I started to have a little bit more of a, okay, I got this.
Pep in your step.
Yeah, I got a little pep in my step. I started practicing, started feeling passionate. And then I got another golden ticket.
That's crazy.
And went to Chicago. And Chicago was a whole nother ball game. It was thousands of us.
Yeah.
Like, competing. They would break us down into like rounds of 100.
Wow.
And it was just the most amazing experience I could ever have at 18 years old, to be like, looking back, I'm like, I know how well I've like came along as a musician now. I was only 18 when I did that. And I think what I took away from that experience at the time, when I was disappointed that I didn't make it, and like some of the judges, they didn't have all the judges picked for the show, but they did have Katy Perry, and
wow,
they had some like major producers like Zaytoven, and just very well-known producers and DJs of the industry. They were like, we don't want to tell you no, but we have too many people in that genre. And that was kind of like going home at 18 years old, disappointed. I wish I would have taken away from that at the time, that I was grateful that I got to have an experience like that.
Yeah.
It's like, how many people get that experience? Like, we're from the Valley, you know?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes we stay, and that's not a wrong place to be in the Valley. But now at 24 and thinking about that kind of accomplishment, it's just a reassuring factor that keep doing it, no matter if you don't think it's going to go somewhere. I didn't think that Valley Idol thing was going to be anything other than fun, and because I love it. And that's literally why I do what I do. That's why I play music. That's why I perform and record, because I love it. And it's not about how much I'll make at the end of the day. It's how many people I can like reach.
That's a beautiful goal. I love that. Yeah, I can imagine. Losing's not fun. I'm not a big fan of losing myself. But I love what you said, is pointing out what we can learn from those experiences and focusing on what to be grateful for.
Yeah.
When things don't quite turn out like we want to. That's a good life lesson for all of us, you know?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Do you think you would do something like that again? I mean, do you watch other music reality shows, and what do you think about them?
Of course. Like, I watch The Voice. I think it's really structured, and that you get to actually work with coaches that, you know, can help you figure out what kind of style you want to go towards, and also like honing in on, you know, what kind of artist you want to be. Those people are there, those coaches are there to like improve you as a artist. And I'm like, I could do something like that. And honestly, I'm not knocking it off to do it right now. I love watching it, but I also love being in the Valley, man. Like, I just genuinely like love what I'm doing here in the Valley, and the support that I have in the Valley. Like, you can't ask for better support anywhere else.
That's true.
You got metropolitan areas that it's such a big scale. And it's like here in the Valley, you know, it's a lot smaller pond, but we all like just have community around here. And if I keep doing what I'm doing, I have like full faith that I might not have to leave the Valley to get that opportunity.
Right.
You know, if I go on The Voice, like, that would be the most amazing thing. And I would have full confidence that I would do well. It's like, I'm going on there to represent the Valley.
Yeah.
But it's like, I also like representing the Valley without the TV show, because I learn a lot more as an artist exploring this journey with other musicians, playing at different venues, interacting with the community. I wouldn't get that kind of experience from a TV show. And I like being authentic about it.
Yeah. I have so many thoughts about what you just shared. One thought that came to mind is, as my craft from acting and now stand-up comedy, and we live in the Valley, which is different than LA, New York, even Atlanta. Getting some advice from people that are in those bigger markets, oftentimes it would come up, become first the big fish in the smaller pond.
Yes, I've heard that saying.
Right, before you make the leap. And then you may find, depending on what your life goals are and values, that you may still want to stay here and be the big fish in the small pond. Yeah. It's about what's going to give you joy in your life in terms of what kind of decisions you make. And that includes where you live. And then also another thought that came to mind is we have so much talent here in the Valley.
We really do.
And I see a shift where there's more and more light being put on that so that people can see and hear exactly what kind of extraordinary talent we have. And it's becoming a tourist attraction for people to come here and listen to Americana and bluegrass and now comedy and their other live performing arts and plays and different things are popping up. And Stanton Arcadia is going to be coming online, which is a beautiful new performance space that's going to be available to people. And so I love to see that growing here.
Yeah, me too.
Do you see that too?
I do. And I'm just like, I just want to high five all the musicians. I'm like, we did this. I'm like, we as a group of talented individuals did this in the Valley. It's like the places gave us the opportunity and we just showed up and came to perform. We showed up and was ready to do it. And over time, like we've just built an awesome music scene around here, and we all just kind of get to work together in like multiple different areas.
Yeah, even festivals and bigger festivals and smaller festivals this weekend. They have Stanton Jams happening, we're in Harrisonburg right now recording this interview. Stanton's about 35 minutes south of us. And then annually in June, there's the huge Red Wing Roots Music Festival.
I love Red Wings.
And then Valley Fest has music, and those are just a few of the venues where that's happening, which is pretty incredible. But I must say, I do like watching some TV when I'm chilling at night and not on the road. And I've watched The Voice. I've been a big fan of The Voice. And you know what's great and pairs well with watching reality shows?
Twizzlers?
No. Although I could do that. I'll give you a second guess. What do you think people like to munch on?
Popcorn.
There it is.
Yes. Sorry, I was going into my own guilty pleasure, not everyone else's go-to. Yes, popcorn.
Speaking of which, look what we have here. Popcorn from our sponsor. I brought you some. Our sponsor, Pre-Popsterous, Shenandoah Valley's only award-winning popcorn, of course.
Wow, I'm diving straight headfirst into fall with this.
Isn't it? This is the pumpkin spice.
Wow.
What do you think about the pumpkin spice?
Makes me want to put on my cardigan and eat a whole bag mindlessly and binge watch something on TV.
No, right?
I can't be the only one, Mm-mm.
No, these are so good.
This whole bag would be gone in a 30-minute episode. I'm not lying.
That's pretty much.
I could put
if we
down.
make it that long. Did you know that their kernels are grown right here in the Shenandoah Valley, and that their factory is 100% nut free?
No way. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely incredible. Plus, Pre-Popsterous makes a great gift for any gifting occasion. Perfect for birthdays, anniversaries, literally anything that comes up. So, you have someone in your life that needs a gift?
My birthday's coming up in December. Oh, you said for somebody else. Hang on.
Well, good for you. You know,
My grandma's birthday is coming up.
She could use some pre-pop.
It's like the week after mine, though.
You can gift yourself some. But guess what? We're going to send you some as a thank you for being a guest on our podcast.
I love that.
So there you got your gift of pre-popterous coming already.
Man.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
You're welcome.
Can ask for a better gift.
And Prepopterous offers our laughers a discount. Laughers, just use promo code LAUGH15 to get 15% discount when you visit prepopsterous.com. That's prepopsterous.com. And you can choose from a variety of their delicious flavors today. Yummy. I have more questions for you over here, Morgan.
Awesome.
Yes, my next one is your genre is a blend of Americana and roots rock.
Yes.
What draws you to this genre and how does it influence your songwriting?
Honestly, it was hard for me to pick a genre to like label myself as, because like I appreciate like classic rock and I appreciate like the blues and country. So I'm like, how can I just like put that all in one? So I feel like I kind of like created my own genre. I don't know if this is a genre or not. This is like what I've like labeled myself as, because I have so many like incredible influences from like classic rock to like the Cranberries, for example. Like
That's the name of a band?
Yeah.
I'll have to look them up.
The Cranberries and like Four Non Blondes, Heart, Stevie Nicks, and then you got like Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I got like flares of a little bit of everything, because that's like the music that really got me intrigued about playing and performing, because it just, when I listened to it, I felt like, I don't know, I'd just close my eyes and picture myself like on a stage somewhere. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And every time I kept listening to the music that I liked from different genres, I was like, well, how can I incorporate this in like what I want to do? So now I'm writing my own music, and been in the process of recording and putting that out. It's more intimate and it's very personal to me. So I'm like excited to be able to share it with everyone. Yeah.
That is pretty amazing that you are creating almost your own genre, and the best, or I guess it just fits to describe it as Americana and roots rock.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it has its own style. I've heard it, so it definitely does.
It does have its own style, and you can hear little flares of this and that where people are like, oh, this reminds me of this artist, or this kind of reminds me of this song. And I love that. Like, I love that kind of like, I love that for the people listening, because I want my music to be completely transparent for everybody. For everybody to like it and be like, well, I usually listen to just straight up country music, but I like this, or I normally only listen to rock, but this is cool. So it's like, I have a really, unique audience. And that's exactly another reason why, like, I love the style that I play, because I'm able to reach like multiple different, like, groups of people and like generations of people, which is awesome. And that's why a lot of musicians will tell you they do what they do. It's like to engage with people and to, make a difference, like write material that people can relate to. And usually when you're writing from like your heart, other people see that and they appreciate it. And I just find it amazing that I'm now at a place where I'll go out and play music, and I'll be playing cover songs, and somebody will be like, play that one song you wrote. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like,
They remember.
They remember the original songs. And I think that's what makes me the most nervous sometimes. Like,
really?
I can play everyone else's music, but then they're like, play one of your originals. And I'm like, I don't know. It's like a groundbreaking moment for me, like to be in the Valley and someone like asked to hear my originals. That means I'm like, doing the right thing and like writing the right stuff, and people love it. And I love that for them, and I love that for me.
Yeah, I love that for you too. What are some of your favorite originals songs that you've written, and what are they about?
Probably my favorite that gets requested the most is called Yellow House. And Yellow House was written about the house that I grew up in as a kid. And I was raised by my grandparents in the heart of Elkton, Virginia. And in that house, like, I wrote a song about everything I learned while I was there because, they decided to downsize. And instead of being sad that the house got sold, I decided to write a song about everything I learned while I was there, like from learning how to play the guitar and learning how to read and learning how to make wine or like whatever it was. That's what the song was about. Like multiple different things I got to experience while I was there. And like one of the verses was like, in that big yellow house when it was mine. And it's like when it was mine. And it's like the song is kind of sad, but it's happy too. Like, I think it depends, like, from the listener standpoint. It's sad, but also like it's a lot to be embraced. Like we all can think about our childhood home or like, growing up with our family or our brothers and sisters and just reminiscing about those times. And I decided to like turn it into a positive and write a song about it. And that one's actually the one I'm working on recording because I've just been requested a lot to be like, when are you going to let Yellow House out? And I'm like, it will be soon. I promise. It will be soon.
Yeah. And you have a Spotify channel or something like that.
I do.
You put your music out.
I have one single on Spotify right now. It's called Drink 3 by Morgan Dean.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think people can find it and listen to it. Will you add this Yellow House to that channel? Or
I will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's a question for you then. Who are the artists and musicians that have been your biggest influences, and how have they shaped your musical style?
Oh, man.
I know you were saying before we recorded so many, I don't know what to say. So I sense you're like thinking of so many.
One of them, like a female artist, she's a like blues singer. She actually played with Joe Bonamassa, is Beth Hart.
Okay.
She's like this rock and roll chick, wears her flare jeans, barefooted, sings blues music. Like, I just admire like that kind of like performance. If you haven't checked her out, check her out. It's Beth Hart. She's awesome. And honestly, another person that really shaped my music that isn't like, an icon is like actually a local artist.
Really?
Like I wasn't playing shows out or anything. And there is a band called Gypsy Town.
Okay.
That when I was like 13 or 14 years old, when I decided I wanted to like come out, that kind of shaped me into becoming like a performing artist and like learning like what kind of style I wanted to be, and like definitely looking up to them as like, the hometown heroes.
Yeah.
They had a lot of influence and like shaping me from like 14 to like all the way up, to 18. I would always go out and see them play. And it's just stuck with me even to this point where like some of the music I like sing now, I'm like, I know some of their songs too.
Yeah.
So from local artists to like, icons, even some of the old stuff like Waylon and Willie, like that's, that reminds me of my roots. It's something so wholesome about listening to it. People think that when they ask you who's your influence, they think like it's mainstream people. But for me and my like journey, it's like the people that I've met in the Valley and musicians that are older than me that have shaped me as an upcoming like artist. And they gave me, that's why I love the Valley. It wasn't like anything competitive about it. It was like all love, all support. Let's get you here. Let's have you play for this audience. Let's help you learn how to sing harmony. Let's help you, work on your stage presence. Like I got more from the Valley and being shaped as an artist from the people around here than I did just like watching, people that are famous play online. I like the kind of experience I got from this industry has been so surreal. Like I've gotten it like firsthand from so many amazing people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
The local artists helping local artists. I see it happening more and more. I think there's been a good amount of it historically.
Absolutely.
I just think there are more artists creating in the Valley right now.
Yeah.
Which is exciting to see. Songwriting for you, and I think for a lot of artists, is deeply personal. Can you take us through your creative process when you write new songs?
Sure. I feel like for each song, it really varies. I kind of start out with like a good chord progression and I'll play it for a little bit and I'm like, okay, I like that. And then I'll just start humming, like, and trying out different hums, like, and seeing like where I could take the notes. Like, do I want to go high? Do I want to go low? Do I want to riff? And once I like kind of get down the chord progression and the melody, for me, a lot of people, they got to have a notepad and write as they go. I can't do that. My brain like forgets. I'm like, that's a great lyric. And then I got to write down like, what did I just say? And I'm like, I don't know. So I literally turn my memos on my phone and I audio record myself, like doing a whole like jam session and saying a bunch of different things that pertain around the idea of the song. And then I'll go back and listen to it and pick out what I want the song to be, because sometimes it's a lot. It's like 8 minutes to work with. And you're like, I mean, we need to consolidate this down to at least 3 minutes. This is not Pink Floyd. Like we can't have an 8-minute song these days. So that's kind of what works for me, because I just have so many ideas and so many different lyrics that could be played many different ways. So it's just easier for me to record it and hear it sang different ways, played different ways, to see like what fits best and like what do I like. And I really do take a lot of time. Like I am a personal writer, but I also like write things that aren't as personal, but I want to make sure what I'm writing has a good like message and it's very clear what it's about. And there's like no wishy-washy. It's like very straight. Very relatable, easy to sing along to. Try to do some sing-alongs.
Yeah. Do audiences sing along with you and you're on the road and around the Valley?
Sometimes, like with some of the things I play, I feel like I've kind of hidden a shell this last like 6 months, because I've been like really secretive about how much music I've actually been writing, because I'm about to like come out with a bang. Like, I think I just said it on the podcast today.
I think you just did.
I was like, yes, I've been writing, the cat's out of the bag. I've been writing in secret for the last 6 months. And I will be having new music come out for 2024.
Well, you heard it here, laughers. You get the inside peek at the future of Morgan Dean's music. That's a great time for me to ask this next question is, where are some of the favorite places that you play around here in the Valley?
Ooh, this is hard. There's so many great places.
Because, in 2024 with all this new music, just giving our laughers some idea of some of the places where you pop up and play and do your thing. I
really like playing at Elkton Brewery.
Oh, that's a great
I'm an
place,
Elkton native, so like definitely like when I play at Elkton Brewery, like I don't know, that's the home team right there. The home team comes out and I love it. Also like Swilled Dog in Upper Tract, West Virginia. It's such a beautiful drive, like on the way over there.
Yeah.
I don't get to go over that way very much. So when I do, it's like such a treat. And you would think in the middle of nowhere, like there would be no one there, but it's like always, It's always busy. I'm like, see, I knew it. I'm like, the locals, they always make the place. Like,
yes,
you got a good place, you got a good establishment, a good vibe. The locals will always come. Like, and that's what I love about the Valley. Those are probably two of my favorite places to play. In Harrisonburg, I've really enjoyed Restless Moons Brewery.
There you go.
Restless Moons. They're awesome. Like,
yeah, that's where we did our first comedy show for X2 Comedy.
and they do a lot there. Like,
They do.
They'll let you have jam sessions. If you didn't have anywhere to practice with your band, they'd let you do a jam session. You can have comedy events. You can have music. You have rappers. Like,
Improv they've had.
yeah,
there.
like, it's just awesome. Like, they're all for, like, you know, talent in the Valley.
And different forms of
Yes.
art. And they even have B horror movies like the
B horror movies. I actually went to those last year.
Oh, you did? They're doing it again this year.
They were so awesome and
They're so bad that they're so good,
They're
right?
so bad, they're so good. Yes.
That's a lot of fun. Yeah, that's a great place. Speaking of local, support, people rally around. A lot of our breweries around here and a lot of our local businesses, which is really great to see. There is something unique about that.
Yeah.
That is unique to us in the way that it is the Shenandoah Valley influence. There are certainly plenty of places in the globe where locals support their local live arts and businesses, and that will have a different flavor too.
Yeah.
Wherever they are located, which is a beautiful thing. Now, this next question, we're not sure from what I understand. We're not for sure. There hasn't been a DNA test or anything, but your family legend has it that they have shared you are related to Patsy Cline. Is that correct?
So I've been told that throughout the years of life that I have lived, there's been no DNA swab, but I can play the guitar and sing too. Of course, I'm probably related to Patsy Cline. There could be a lot of speculation, but it's been told for years throughout my family. I have a big family. Fun fact about me, I'm related to Hensleys. I took my dad's last name, but my family's last name is Hensley.
Hensley. This is a musical family?
Not all of my family. I'm pretty much in this generation the only one that plays.
Right. But I'm asking who the Hensleys are. Were they known for music or?
I'm not actually sure.
Okay.
But Hensleys and Meadows and Dean.
Meadows and Dean.
Yes.
And Patsy Cline, supposedly.
Yes. Patsy Cline, supposedly.
Do you listen to her music at all? Do you feel like you sound
I don't feel like I
anything
sound like her.
I didn't think so either. Yeah.
But I do listen to her. I listen to her song Crazy, Crazy for Me. Yeah. I'll listen to her. It's so nostalgic, to listen to her and lay on my bed and just listen to music is honestly just as enjoyable as playing it, playing music. I could sit and listen to music for hours, just with my headphones in.
Really?
It's like a hobby. I think it's a hobby, listening to music, right?
Yeah. That's a hobby. Yeah. And for laughers out there who may not be familiar with Patsy Cline, she is considered one of the most influential vocalists of the 20th century and was one of the first country music artists to cross over into pop music, which was popular. She was popular in the late 50s and early 60s. Among her greatest hits are a little bit of a sample that Morgan just sang for us, Crazy, and also I Fall to Pieces. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one.
That's a good one. So people can listen to her music and Google her to get some idea. But I understand she has a connection to Elkton, Virginia, right?
Yes. In the Valley, and I believe it was another part of 20 minutes from Elkton.
Okay.
I don't know the exact place, but she was well known around the valley.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't want to speak like I know all about her or anything, but I'm aware from different conversations I've had with people in the valley and from people from Elkton that she has a tie there.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, fun to explore. I'm wondering if you can give us any glimpse into a little bit of this new music we're going to hear in 2024. Is the whole cat in the bag? Or can you just give us maybe a little teaser of perhaps what one of your songs are about, or something that you're willing to possibly share with us?
This is I'll give you guys a little sneak peek into what I'm writing. What I've been writing is, it's probably the best material I've written in my whole career.
Awesome.
And it's a little bit of everything. Like it throws in there like, from, battling in the life that we're in and battling in faith. Like, there's so many different aspects of my music that, I wrote a song that was called, it's a love song. And anyone that knows me knows I don't write love songs. I either write songs about houses getting sold or, people getting arrested or, drinking at the bars. And this is completely night and day from what I was writing to write. There was a song I wrote called We Talk About You. And the song was, talking about how I really like this person. And the song I wrote was like, I really like this person, but, I talked about you to Jesus. So it was like the verse was, me and Jesus stay talking about you and what we're going to do, but it's okay that I'm talking about you because he knows you too. Like, and it's like stuff like that. I wouldn't say it's completely gospel.
Right.
It's very much new age. But I guess you could kind of compare it to like what some of the newer artists doing, like Jelly Roll or like Lauren Daigle and like stuff like that. It's still like pretty pure, wholesome. I've been dabbling a lot more, and it's going to be a little more twangy than a lot of the other
songs you've had.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot more country driven than what I have been doing. So I'm excited to kind of really put my roots out there in the valley.
Yeah.
Like she was a rock and roll star. Now she's singing twang. Twang, twang.
Twang, twang. It's your evolution process. When I first met you at Sarah Hamilton Voice Studio, were wearing a cowboy hat a lot.
Yeah.
Is that a signature move of yours when you're performing? Is that cowboy hat?
Yes, I have many hats. I have hooks on the wall.
Well, then you're going to probably like the new boot barn that's opening up here in the crossings, because I saw a bunch of cowboy hats in the window.
Really? We're getting a boot barn?
It's there.
Open?
It looks like it.
I think I'm going to go there after this podcast on. I said I wasn't going to be buying any more hats, but I mean, it's only like they just opened, and I want to show my support. So I almost feel like obligated, like to buy something today.
That's a true Valley supporter of local business
absolutely.
Right there. What do you see in the music landscape right now in terms of all these technology advances? What's the technology advances influence currently on music?
The influence on music?
Yes.
Like, are you talking like about AI or?
Yes. Let's talk about AI. Do musicians love it, hate it, not sure about it?
I think it's both, because like, think about when you're like on a time crunch. For some people, like it's going to be a high volume. We need songs now. So it's like AI can help generate ideas to help write songs. But then you got like a different group of people that are more authentic And I'm one of those people. So if I'm using AI to write my songs, like, I just like, I feel like a liar. Like for me, I feel like a liar because like, yeah, it's my generated idea, but AI put it into words. And I don't know. I don't really trust the computer that much to be putting a message out in the world. I know I have to think about the things I put out in the world. So I don't feel safe just putting out like lyrics AI wrote that can be misinterpreted 1,000 different ways. But I think that there is some benefit to it. Absolutely. If it's used correctly, not to just like generate songs, but to generate like ideas and like to give people like insight on, hey, like what's the best way to collaborate with another artist, or hey, what's the best way to like get more views on my video. And they give you that kind of like rundown where it's like, do step 1 through 5. And I think that is really awesome to help musicians kind of dive into the business side of this industry. AI can like give us like just information on how to do it. Like I asked AI how to start a podcast one time and it like told me like from beginning to end how to start one.
Yeah. And you may have one.
Yeah. And I think that's very much different from being like, AI, write me the best like country western song in the style of Post Malone, you know, like we're going to have stuff like that. And I had this conversation with somebody else where it's like, well, dang, why would Post Malone ever have to write another song, you know, if AI is going to generate it and they already have his voice? That could take people, like, couldn't that possibly take songwriters' jobs?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question to actually think about. I think.
Yeah, because it can be good and bad.
It can be good and bad. I think it also points to where, honestly, the demand for more live performances by the actual artists will increase. So, you know, they want to see the actual artist who is singing that song or has that style versus, you know, on the internet, it could be produced by AI or it sound like that artist and you wouldn't necessarily know depending on how you're consuming it.
The fans ain't gonna let it happen.
But if you want to know if you got the real thing or not, you're going to show up at the brewery or the festival or the concert and see that person. Now, that doesn't speak to any lip syncing issues and all of that. And sometimes, depending on the level of production, it sounds like sometimes that's necessary. Is that true? If they're like moving around a lot, I understand that like huge productions, I don't know, big stadiums and things like that, it sounds like it's sometimes necessary for them to lip sync so that their voices project in those kind of huge sound systems. Or is that wrong?
Yeah, because a lot of times you can get feedback.
Yeah.
But also like there's also another account that needs to be taken too, which is like, how many shows are they playing like every day? How many cities are they traveling to? It's like, I know just playing 3 shows, like sometimes in a week and my voice gets shot. And it's like these artists are singing a lot. So I think some of it is for technical reasons and others for like, you know, health. Like as artists, like our longevity of like our voices and our energy and whatnot.
Speaking of health, what kinds of things do you do as a musician for your vocal health?
For my vocal health, I drink a lot of water, and I like to like put lemon or cucumber in it just for flavor. Like, cause I honestly get tired of drinking water, and like before shows, I'll definitely like do a couple warm-ups with my voice, drink tea. Definitely, most people are like, I do this whole plan where I like do a vocal warm-up and this and that and the other. I'm a real simple gal. Like, I just want to make sure like I'm always like hydrated, like haven't ate a lot of dairy. Dairy's really hard. It creates a lot of mucus. Really just water, vitamins, hot teas. That's really good for the voice, especially for before and like after. Like I think the aftercare is just or even more important than, taking care of your voice before the performance. Because it's like, think about when you go to the gym and you work out, like you definitely like want to take care of your muscles afterwards. And our vocal cords are definitely a muscle.
Yes. Yeah. I wondered about that.
Yeah.
How musicians take care of themselves. That's really great. I think this has been an incredible time together. Have you had fun today?
Yes, I've had so much fun.
I think it would be awesome if Laughers can follow you so they can check you out now and definitely when your new music is coming out in 2024. So how best can they follow you on social media or otherwise to connect with you?
Yes, the best way to find me is on Instagram and Facebook at Morgan Dean Music. That is where I post all my content. That is where my booking email is, and as well as where I will be playing at next.
I love it. And Laughers will be sure to put that information for you in the show notes as well, so you can go check her out. And thank you so much, Morgan. It's been such a delight hanging out with you and hearing more about your story. I cannot wait to listen to you again in person here real soon. So thanks again for coming on the show. It's been super great.
Thanks for having me, Dawn.
Yes, you're amazing. And Laughers to keep up with Morgan Dean is playing next. Again, be sure to follow her on her social media and then go check her out in person. Also, don't forget to snag that discount on Prepopsterous using promo code LAUGH15 at prepopsterous.com today. That way you can munch on it when you join me on next week's episode. And lastly, and most importantly, thanks for tuning in, Laughers. Out of all the podcasts out there, you picked us, and we think that's pretty darn special, just like you. Until next time, keep smiling. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. We'll be dropping a new podcast every Wednesday, so check back for another uplifting episode. Come to an X2 Comedy show or let us bring one to you. To find out more, head to x2comedy.com. Be sure to share this podcast with a friend, and until next time, cheers.